I'm not about to do this video with gum in my mouth. How rude of me. Today we're talking about coming out. Let's see, the night before I came out, I got so drunk. I got so drunk. I mean, I got so drunk. I mean, so drunk. Like, so drunk the night before. Like, so drunk the night before. And the next day, I was feeling really bad because I got so drunk the night before. And so my mom called me and she was like, I heard that you got drunk last night, because I guess I put it on Facebook because I was so drunk. And so she called me and she's like, I heard about what happened. And I'm like, how? And she's like, your sister told me. And I'm like, oh, okay. My mom and I had a little heart-to-heart since, and it was over the phone, how I made that bad decision or whatever. And then it just got to I don't know how the conversation escalated, but it did. It escalated to talking about how I am gay. Came home later that night and I had, felt good about telling my mom, so I'm like, okay, well, I think I can do it. It's gonna be awkward, but I can do it. So they came home later that night, and I was sitting, they were in the kitchen, I was like sitting on the stairs, because there were like stairs that went upstairs from the kitchen. Anyways, I was sitting on those stairs and I'm just like, I can't remember, what did I actually say? I said, oh, well, I was like, well, I had a conversation with Mom earlier today on the phone, and I told her that I was gay. And I am. Something like that. I don't think those were exactly the words, but something like that. One thing that they said that really kind of ticked me off was, they're like, well, are you sure you know? And it's like, really? I just, got wound up all this nerve and bravery and courage to do this, and then you're gonna ask me if I'm sure? Of course I'm sure. Like, of course. Like, how dare you? That's what I was, and I was like, yes. Are you kidding me? They were like, well, how do you know? I'm like, what? They're just completely, and they still are a little bit. I mean, they're accepting, but they just don't understand it, and it's annoying at times, but I don't let it really get to me because I know that they're, just stupid. I don't really know the first time I realized, like, I like the peen. But I mean, the first time I realized I was gay was the first time it was a validation to me. I know, validation, like my big words. The first time it was a validation to me was when I was dating the last girlfriend I ever dated in freshman year. I was still dating her, but I was still like talking to this guy who was gay, and I came out to him, and I'm like, well, I'm bi, or something like that. I know, right? That's scary. So I came out to him, and we started talking, and we were talking. He's like, oh, it was late, and it was like, my parents aren't home, and he's like, well, invite me over, or something like that, and I was like, no, I don't think so, probably not, we shouldn't do that. And he was like, I don't know, but it happened. He came over, and I was still dating this girl, but we didn't do anything. I mean, we cuddled on the floor, but we didn't do anything. But I remember cuddling and like coming in for an embrace or whatever, and I'm like, his head was over my shoulder and my head was over his shoulder, and I remember just looking out into space, or I was just looking out into space, and like I just kind of had a moment where I was just like, this is it for me. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I had one tear that streamed down my cheek. I was just like, this is it for me. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is, how I feel, and this is just me. I don't know how else to describe it. I was just like, this is just how it's supposed to be. This is what my life is supposed to be, and this is, where I feel most comfortable. I can't explain it, but I don't know. So I broke up with the girl that next Monday at school, and she already knew. We're best friends now, so I told her, I'm like, yeah, I cuddled and cheated on you, whatever. It's not that big of a deal, because we were both bored or whatever. And so that was the validation. And I guess the first time I realized it was, way earlier, like maybe like 7 or something. I had an inclination, but I didn't know what it even was. I didn't know like anything. The first time it was validated, though, was that moment. And how I felt about it was like, I just have to do this now. Like, I just have to do this now. I started coming out to friends, and there was a long period in between coming out to friends and coming out to family. I mean, such a long period where I felt comfortable because I was out to friends and I was dressing like the biggest homo in the whole entire world. If you are a closeted gay person and maybe, you're just out to friends, a couple friends, and not out to your family, or just out to one person, or maybe you're not out at all, just know that you'll know when it's time, and you'll know when you have to do it, because you feel so confident in yourself that you can't keep it in anymore. That confidence and that, just being true to yourself will just boil and boil and boil. And finally, the lid will hit the ceiling, and you're just not going to be able to hold it in anymore. You'll feel so confident in yourself that it's still going to be awkward, coming out. But at the same time, that confidence is going to really help. When you know. And you just can't hold it in anymore. That's all I got to say. My name is Evan Reed, and this is my coming out story.